وهذا طبعا يعني صنف جدير بكل الاهتمام، ويواجه تحديات جمة، وكذلك له من الفرص عددا كبيرا يعني يمكن أن يستغلوا لتطوير الجودة والوصول أكثر إلى الجماهير. دونك إن شاء الله تكون هذه الندوة مفيدة ومتابعة شيقة.
مرحبا بكم في الندوة هذه الأفلام الوثائقية.
To this documentary conference, we have 3 topics to be debated. I will introduce the international experts. First of all, we will diagnose the production of documentaries, then the challenges,
وأفضل النماذج في هذا المجال
and experiences in this regard, and also the opportunities at hand. I will introduce the experts who are here in Tunisia. Mr.
خبير في الإنتاجات المشتركة للأفلام الوثائقية,
an expert,
مستشار لقناة الراي
editor, producer, he is a consultant for the RAI TV station. Mr. Dieter Roser, responsible in DW in Germany, responsible for documentaries in this channel. Mr. Dietrich Friedrich Krusch, and he is responsible for documentaries in Germany.
سامحوني مش يتغش عليا.
I beg your pardon.
السيد الخبير الرابع
هو
سي سيف الدين حسن من السودان.
أما
مرزوم
from Sudan, and he is joining us via Zoom.
سوداني.
He is a producer, filmmaker in Sudan. The company المقطع for production for the production of documentaries. Thank you so much.
Starting.
Shall we start now?
Okay. أستاذ حسن تسمع فينا ولا؟
Mr. حسن.
أستاذ حسن.
Can you hear us?
معلش الصوت.
Good morning.
ما عندناش وجوه الصوت.
نسمع الصوت. والترجمة تسمع الصوت كذلك. The translation we are listening for the yes we can hear the voice.
تقنية تكنيك أنا أونلاين.
إحنا نسمع.
أعطونا الانفورماسيون الأولاد. قاعد يتكلم ونسمعوش فيه.
نسمعك سيدي، ولكن ميسر هذا الاجتماع لا يستمع إليك.
أستاذ حسن.
أي نعم، عليكم السلام، مرحب.
أوكي، تفضل.
نعم.
We can hear you now.
تفضل.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
تحية
عربية وتحية لكم جميعا.
Greetings for you all. I am so honored to join this panel on documentaries, challenges and opportunities. And here I am trying to find a diagnosis of the reality of documentaries production in the Arab region. I am interested in documentaries because it was a life project for me. My start was not a classical start. I was a war reporter in the South Sudan, and I have documented the war in the South. And in one of the battles,
في قارات الجنوب على القرب من
I spent a week
من
in
يومها
that war zone,
تشكلت لدي قناعة
and from that day I had the conviction, the firm conviction of the importance of documentaries.
حقيقة تكونت لدي قناعة من
So I have this firm conviction that documentaries are even higher than any genre of media production. And I do believe that documentaries and even dramatic production, despite the fact that it is fiction, documentaries with its real value is higher than any other genre. What is going on now in Khartoum, in our whatever we tell a scenario writer and a filmmaker or a producer, tell us what is going on in Khartoum, he will not be able to tell us the sheer truth on the ground. However, a documentary will be able to tell the story of Khartoum in all its details. Throughout our talk on Arab documentaries, the challenges and the opportunities. So I have gone through all the different stages of documentaries production. I have produced more than 100 documentaries throughout my professional life. And I have this conviction now that there are challenges in production, in documentaries production in the region. First of all, the mindset. And here we might face a large number of challenges. First of all, the Arabs are not that convinced that documentaries are necessary and feasible. We have problems with mindsets. And this mindset might impede documentary production. And we are not like Europe or the USA, where the public is fond of documentaries and where the documentary genre has been invented. And now today you can find platforms and TV stations specializing in documentaries. In the Arab region, we always celebrate as audiences and as producers, we celebrate more fictional works, dramatic works, rather than documentaries. Maybe because of the relatively short tradition in documentary production. As you might know, we have problems related to financing documentaries, and this is a major problem facing documentary production.
إنتاج الأفلام الوثائقية في المنطقة العربية. أعتقد أنه ضعف الاهتمام بهذا النوع.
I do believe the lack of interest in this production genre,
من جانب المؤسسات الثقافية,
especially from the official cultural outlets or institutions which shy away from producing such films. Moreover, the private sector also is not keen on producing documentaries in the Arab region. They are keener on producing dramatic films or fictional ones or novels.
وتجميد المشروعات الثقافية العربية المشتركة.
And even the joint Arab production does not care or does not pay enough attention to the production of documentaries, which made that all cultural institutions in the Arab region, like the Arab Fund for Arts and Culture,
الوثائقية عبر توفير التمويل
there is a need to provide financing people who finance such projects, and we need that this fund would pay more attention to the production of documentaries.
طيب المحاذير السياسية أيضا.
There are also political challenges
في المنطقة العربية
which might impede the production of documentaries,
في بعض المناطق هشة,
especially in some areas where stability is rather fragile, and which has limited the movement of producers and filmmakers in the region. Also, the management of political affairs, the management of political events also might impede the production of documentaries in the region.
يعني المشاركة تاريخيا في هذه المشروعات. التخوف من شحذ الأفكار التمويلية ربما وهذا مربوط
that documentaries might result in instability.
عليه ذلك يعني جعل هذه
all this has made it that documentary production in the region is scarce.
أعني بذلك ثقافة إنتاج الأفلام الوثائقية في مجتمعات تنهض فيها مفاهيم اجتماعية.
Because documentaries might be a tool for awareness raising, for sensitization to certain problems. And I do believe that the absence of joint productions of documentaries in the Arab region has also impeded the production of such genre of media production. For example, between Egypt and the Sudan, there is a big lack of documentary production. And despite all this, I do believe that there are opportunities to promote documentary production like this festival. I do believe it is an important platform to further and enhance documentary production in the region and to develop the industry of documentary production, especially also some other TV channels, private or public, might also play a role in promoting this genre of production. Also, as well as the openness to international platforms, documentary platforms, which also might finance the production of some documentaries in the region. Because these platforms have created a new mindset which is keen on watching documentaries. And we hope that to produce joint films in the Arab region.
Mr. Rosen? Dr. Dieter Roser.
Hello.
Naam.
I wish you all a good day. I'm very pleased and honored to be here with you in Tunis to speak on this panel. I will speak about the topic documentaries for a global audience, challenges and opportunities. My name is Dieter Roser and I'm commissioning editor, producer and filmmaker in the documentary department of Deutsche Welle, DW, Germany's international broadcaster. I live and work in Berlin, Germany, and I hope I live more than I work in Berlin. We love documentaries, and we are not alone. Documentaries have been in high demand in recent years. even among young viewers. That's true in most regions of the world. Documentaries have held their own against the new competition of short reels on Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok. Our documentaries have a length of 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 52 minutes. Please play clip 1, please. Some examples for you.
Discover. The world. How it was.
This is the moment to unleash our nonviolent past and reimagine Gandhi's teachings for relevance to us.
Propaganda. Am I going to lose my life if I don't conduct this concert for Hitler's birthday? And if the answer is no, if you're not going to be thrown into a concentration camp because you don't conduct, then why are you conducting?
She brings people together.
Angela Merkel's a leader. She's not a follower. Discover the world. How it is.
My name is Can Dündar, and I have paid almost every price of being a journalist in a country like Turkey. There are more people like me out there.
They want to kill me, and they try many times. They killed some of my sources.
Seeing a crime happen and staying silent about it turns witnesses into accomplices.
I just want to pursue what sets my soul on fire.
Discover the world. How it will be.
This is one of the most insightful discoveries in the history of mankind.
Discover the world around you with us.
Thank you. With our documentaries, we want to reach a young target group of men and women, 14 to 40 years young, and we want to do this worldwide. We want to find viewers in Africa, America, Asia, Europe, Eastern Europe, and the MENA region. How do we achieve this? We buy non-exclusive licenses from international distributors. We take over documentaries from German broadcasters, and we do in-house productions. We broadcast around 360 documentaries a year via satellite TV in English, German, Spanish, and Arabic, and we place them on our platforms. DW-branded third-party platforms are becoming increasingly important for us. Online first has been our motto for a few years now. We have YouTube channels in 5 languages: English, Spanish, Arabic, German, and Hindi. And these YouTube channels are very successful. The Spanish and English YouTube channels DW Documental and DW Documentary each have around 4.8 million subscribers. The Arabic Documentary YouTube channel, which started in 2018, is approaching 2 million subscribers. All channels have a total of over 11 million subscribers. Our platforms have reached an average of 75 million views per month. That's quite a lot. What is the strength of our strategy? I believe that platforms are opening up the market worldwide. that we have managed to make DW a brand for quality documentaries in some regions. We are the market leader in the Spanish market with over 70% market share compared to our YouTube competitors. The English language market for documentaries is highly competitive, and we have a market share of over 18% here. What is the strength? Ideally, what is our message? We show different perspectives and points of view around the world, and thus open up discussions. We think that's very important in a more and more polarized world. The main challenge to reach a global audience is the programming. What topics and what kind of storytelling will find interest and viewers worldwide? Different cultures have varying perspectives, beliefs, and values. What's interesting for viewers in Germany or Europe doesn't have to be interesting for people in the MENA region or in Latin America or in Asia. A lot of inspiration and inputs are given to us by our colleagues at DW. They come from all over the world. A second important source of suggestions are the comments from viewers on our channels. What they like, what they don't like. What they like is current affairs, politics, the economy, the environment, society, science and culture, and indeed worldwide. These are the topics that interest our viewers. They are interested in backgrounds, contexts, and other perspectives, and this combined with good storytelling, good camera work. And of course, our viewers want to see character-driven stories. These stories are comprehensible to everyone. They are human. Our stories take place all over the world, and the protagonists are on location. How do they live? What are their wishes, problems, and hopes? How do they see themselves? How do they see their country? How do they see the world? My latest project, which I just finished producing, is trying to reach a global audience through the choice of protagonists, countries, topic, and storytelling. The target audience is young, and the point of view is young too. To that end, I'd like to show you the trailer. Clip 2, please.
Us and them, when generations clash. 12 young people from all around the world and their parents, ready to tell their stories. 6 half-hour documentaries and a series of short films for social media. You know how it is. What you want from life and what your parents expect you to do is often completely different.
I wanted him to become a doctor.
My appetite for risk is huge.
How are you going to buy your house? I just want to pursue what sets my soul on fire.
It seems the gap between the generations is bigger than ever, and it's the same all over the world. So we think it's time to talk face to face with the help of some facts to understand where each side is coming from. Us and Them, When Generations Clash, a global documentary format coming soon from DW.
Thank you. Us and Them is a 6-part series. Us is standing for the young generation. Them is the elder generation. Each episode is filmed in 2 countries that represent very different societies, such as Iran and Brazil, Nigeria and Mexico, the US and India or Egypt, and Taiwan. To foster emotional identification, the series features one family per country. Info bits are also given information and historical backgrounds of where they live. The topics featured are relatable everyday disagreements about the right career path or whether it's okay to get a nose job to feel comfortable in one's body. The storytelling approach is constructive. What separates us, what connects us, and how can we understand each other better? The filming was done in 10 different countries, and this whole project was very difficult, and it doesn't just seem to be expensive, it was really expensive. And because logistically, we were shooting Corona time. In some countries, we worked with producer and cameraman on location. The format is 4K. This is because the topic tries to get protagonists that are worldwide, understandable, you can feel with them, and the problems we are sharing all over the world. It's the lag and the gap between generations. And this is how we try in this project to get the worldwide audience. This is an example of how big the challenge is, but also the opportunity to program and produce documentaries for a global audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rossi. Thank you for exposing the importance of documentary as a tool for tackling the main issues that shake the world. That is, I think, the important thing and the important point across the field. Thank you for this stunning sample. And I would ask Mr. Marcus Nickel now to speak up. Thank you very much.
Yeah, challenges of documentary production. I follow Dieter and Safain in bringing you three different types of producing documentaries. We heard from Safain that there's a very difficult situation in financing documentaries in the Arab world. I have to tell you, it's not that different in Europe, because out of 10 projects that are proposed, maybe one or maybe none is being financed. So it takes a huge amount of work to develop stories that get financed. And of course, there's also different strategies to reach the financing, to bring it into place and to produce the films on a level that they really reach top quality. I want to tell you three stories and three examples, different examples that involved me in the last couple of months and with a different function. I also wanted to make a sort of comparison between documentary production and cars, which can be helpful to understand what we have to think about. If you think about what kind of cars we have top cars or limousines like a Ferrari. We have middle-class cars that have a middle price, a middle budget to produce, and we have small cars. Okay, in documentary, it's a little bit similar. We have documentaries that have a very high budget. We have documentaries that have a middle budget. We have documentaries that have a low budget, but all have to be good documentaries, of course. So the question is how to make it happen, how to get the money in place, and how to adapt also the editorial needs and the financial possibilities so that they meet each other to make the best possible solution. My first example is a story that was produced for Arte. I'm the author of this film. It's a film about a city in Sicily. It's an art historical examination of how this city came into being for the slot on Arte in Germany and France. It's produced by an independent production company. It has a production value of about 120,000 euros. Let's see the clip, and then I talk a little bit about it. First clip.
Qual quello che conosciamo oggi di questa città è relativamente recente. Fino a poco tempo fa non si sapeva manco chi l'aveva costruita.
Un terzo della popolazione era morta sotto le macerie all'interno del Val di Noto. Il trauma ha portato a un cambiamento, un ingegnarsi dal punto di vista costruttivo per creare la città nuova.
La bellezza portava anche a una sorta di competizione. Chi costruiva il palazzo più bello, chi aveva il posto più bello, dava un segnale di potenza politica ed economica.
Tout le baroque est campé sur une idée de rêve. Mais c'est mieux que le rêve, la rêverie. Je suis dans des mondes dont je ne peux pas saisir une perception exacte ou parfaite.
Vivo a Noto, una città circondata di pietra, appunto è chiamata il giardino della pietra.
Questa campagna di restauri così diffusa ha messo nelle condizioni Noto di diventare capitale del barocco, e da lì questo successo turistico che ci dà oggi una Noto diversa. Forse era più bella la Noto che conoscevamo allora e forse non avremmo dovuto raccontare in giro quanto era bella.
So it's a film. Thank you very much. This film will be on air on Arte next Sunday. How did we produce this? I mean, the producer is a production company based in Munich, Germany, and they went to Arte and knew already what kind of format they would want on this topic. There was a slot. We knew exactly what profile the slot had on Arte. There was also a budget expectation, and the producer decided to only stick with this budget available from Arte, not to do international co-production. So it meant to do it for €100,000 maximum. That means that you have to adapt to this possibility. We knew we needed to bring people to the place. We had has to be very well planned, and you have to really prepare the things that you stick with this money. Otherwise, you have to go on a bigger level, and you have to try to find several more financing sources to make it happen. The next example I will show you, and I will not tell about the content until you see the clip, is a high-level budget with €350,000 of budget. That was necessarily a co-production. It's been between RAI and Arte again, with further financing coming from European funding organization called Creative Europe, from local regional funders, and some other money that also made by pre-sales. So let's look at a completely different subject. We will talk a little bit about it later. No. The wrong one. Sorry, number 2, please.
As a journalist, especially in Iraq, this is like the dangerous profession you can make. More than 40 of my colleagues was killed or captured. But the time when ISIS seized the city, I realized that this is it for me. I have to leave. That was a trip of the trips. Mother of all trips, yeah. To the lands of happiness, the lands of hope, Europe. Even my parents, even my family said, don't come back. Don't come back. What are you doing? Don't come back. And I came back. Why? We have a vision, something to start. It takes sacrifice, patience. We collect all the money from us, the 6 of us. We are the first independent radio broadcast from inside Mosul. فإذا كل من يسمعنا وكل من تسمعنا شاب Radio 1 FM was able to be the voice of the people. We covered everything in every detail, and we are also at the same time telling the people. So someone get really, mad, and suddenly there was armed forces, and they crowded the whole place, and they said, "You should close," and we reopened it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So this production was very expensive. Why was it so expensive? One of the reasons was that we wanted to follow this young man called Gadir, who had been a refugee in Europe and went back very courageously, opened a radio station in Mosul, and tried to build up a civil society with independent information, like he had in a way experienced in Europe, and like he thought it was necessary to build up the country. For 3 years, we followed. The team followed him for 3 years. So it was necessary to go there several times. The editing process was very complex because the shooting material was enormous quantity of hours of shooting, and the story had to be built out of that. So a lot of editing time was requested, and also sometimes very expensive archive material. Some of the archive is private archive from Gadir. He also did some shooting there. He was paid for that, but most of the money for archive went into archive that had to be bought by CNN, by broadcasters for the news coverage. So that is quite expensive, and that was only possible to do through co-production and involving a lot of partners, pre-sales. So it was a long development period. The producers had to build it up for at least 1 hour and a half, 1 year and a half. Doing a lot of pitches, like next week there will be the sunny side of the dock in La Rochelle in France, which is a very big market, and producers have to be able to go to these places to pitch their project. They have to be good to pitch the project in order to recollect investment. That's crucial, and it's an international activity, generally international. It cannot be done on a national level. RAI, ourselves, we would have not been able to produce this. Arte themselves, not even. It was necessary to build a big cooperation. Okay, so that's let's say the Ferrari type of documentary, right? A lot of money, a lot of also characteristics that cost this money. The third type of cooperation I wanted to show you is a very different type of production approach. And first of all, it's most of the time it's internal production. What we saw so far are independent producers who come to a broadcaster and to finance and ask for the money. The last example is a cooperation form that normally we call collection. And it needs broadcast associations such as ASPU, such as Copiam in Italy, an association working together a lot of times with ASPU. We have here the General Secretary, Mr. Capon, and the Vice Secretary, Paula. And what we do with Copiam and with ASPU is we bring broadcasts together on a common format. Young producers get in and internally write their story on the topic along the format and then produce their piece. You make one, you take them all. That is extremely cost efficient, and it's also extremely easy to create a great outreach to many countries with important messages, or also with films that give us a better understanding who we are in our different countries. The series I want to show you is the last co-production that was done in this style. It's called Antarif Markets, and it's about markets and people who live in markets. I show you the trailer. So, yeah, you can see high production value, right? Beautiful stories, beautiful pictures, 15, 30-minute films that can be arranged in different formats on TV screen. You can put them together in a half an hour with 2. You can have a whole hour with 4 stories. So broadcasters can do a lot of things. It's a very flexible format. And one thing I really like and love, particularly in this way to produce, is that you work with a lot of young people most of the time from very different countries and cultures. And this is also important, to get into this international community of filmmakers and exchange about how to make films. Normally we watch the rough cuts together and we would discuss them. And on this point, I wanted to show you a sort of a making of video from one of the workshops from a different project, but the same approach collection, which we did with ABU, the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union, on a project dealing with sustainable tourism. So sustainability in how to organize traveling touristic activities that are compatible with the environmental needs, with the social needs, with fair pay, with respect for local cultures. And we had a lot of countries from Asia, from Africa, and even from the Caribbean. In this, the video I show you is a sort of background making of video from the workshop with the rough cut meeting, which we did in Malé on the Maldives Islands recently. And you will see that the producers are extremely happy to make this experience. So last clip, please.
Whatever we said on any of the films is relevant for all the other films too. If you do it well, I think this is something to be grateful to everybody.
This project is about sustainable tourism, and the idea is to circulate best practices. All participating countries tell a story and they share it with all the other countries. I think this is a way to increase the knowledge about sustainable tourism and to help to grow it.
We have a very important role to play, us in the fourth estate and in the media, because we are communicating quite a complex story. This disaster risk reduction, climate change, mitigation, all these big words, it's our job to personify them, to bring them into what is believable and recognizable for people in their everyday lives.
During the past few days, we have been watching rough cuts from all participants. So each participant brought their film, and we watched them, we discussed them, we collected feedback, and we instructed all the directors and authors how to finalize it.
For most of us, we like that, I think.
To be more focused on the real issue,
making it more realistic.
And this is also what I said before the introduction. This is the human face we need.
Crop it, at least crop it. Never. You can always crop that or replace the shot.
It's not a joke. 2 days discussing these things, it doesn't go in vain. Definitely, there will be a lot of changes.
I was able to see and meet other producers and see how their projects were done, and I'm able to understand how to develop better my future stories that I would create.
I didn't know what was happening in Indonesia. I didn't understand what was happening in Nepal. I didn't understand what was happening in Pakistan. And of course, for me too, they didn't understand what was happening in Tanzania. So definitely with this kind of exchange program, definitely we've been able to share and understand what is really happening in our own countries.
It's truly a highlight of my life, and I feel very honored to be here. I learned a lot of things within these few days. I gained a new perspective about things, about stuff, and also about the ideas and concept of sustainable tourism.
Apart from the fact that I think the films will be very, very interesting, what I really enjoyed is how people connected to each other. From this, there will be other things happening, and there will be continuity, there will be friendship. And I think that is very, very important today in media. We have to build on trust, we have to build on empathy, and we have to bring people together also to create innovative ideas that come from really also our different backgrounds.
Yeah, to make this happen, to make these kind of projects happen, I think broadcast associations are crucial. Somebody has to organize this. Somebody has to make the call. Somebody has to connect the different realities. And let me come back to where we started, where Safane started. I think it needs a political will and an awareness why documentaries are important. Documentaries are important because they are a way to reflect about reality, about the world we are living in, and help us to understand it. And I think that is crucial for development of societies. It's crucial to understand what works, what could work better, what does not work. And the beauty we are living in is also, I think, very important. It encourages us to do things. And all these kind of things, I think, can be conveyed in documentaries, also, of course, in fictional formats. But documentaries, I think, are closer to reality in some way. They are not reality because they are interpretations of reality, but they're very close to reality, and this is what we need. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this presentation. I think it's very important to explain the bridging for co-productions and financing. It was very, very interesting, especially the last part that showed us that we had to have different perspectives on one topic beyond tourism and beyond the topic you have treated actually. Thank you very much. I
just wanted to give an idea about the fact that this session of today will be about sports commentaries. I shall have it immediately after this particular session.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. This is my third time at ASBU. It's always a pleasure being here. And thank you for the invitation to speak today. So we have seen how Dr. Dieter can work under the roof of Deutsche Welle, of a big brand that is operating worldwide. We saw how Markus succeeds in bringing together people and financiers to make these beautiful projects. With me, you have someone who's been in the business for 40 years, in the media business. And I would like to share with you some tips, some recommendations, how you can survive in this business for such a long time. Now, when I started consuming media, more than 60 years ago to be true, there was one television channel in Germany, just one. Now we have more than 50. We have streaming services. We have thousands of satellite channels from all over the world. We have social media, YouTube. There are thousands of videos uploaded every hour of the day to the social media channels. So you have succeeded in collecting the money for a project. you found someone like Markus or Dr. Dieter to support, but then you have a product, and how do you make this product stand out? This is a big problem once it comes to marketing and distribution, and I would like to share a few hints of how you can successfully market your projects. Branding is the big point. When you start a project right in the development phase, you should think about a good title and try to keep the title all the way through the production. Then don't just make one film. Try to set up a series of several films, even if this is only a small series, like 3 films, but it will give you an additional branding push. Content branding is when you do special subjects. My subject is history. I love looking into history to find solutions for my world today, for my life, for the future. I think we all need to look into future to find, we will find similarities to our world. I have been doing this for many years now, and it works. Personal branding is when you succeed in building up a reputation in a certain field. I'm not a historian, but I have been doing films on historical subjects for 30 years now. So this will build up your reputation, and you will easier find someone to finance your project if they know you have done something like this before. So this is personal branding. You can use a presenter, a host in your films, in your series. And this will give it a continuity as well. This is a brand. So this is another option. In the marketing, when you do flyers, posters, advertisements for your project, you should always use the same elements, the same title, the same logo, the icons, the style. It should all be in the forefront of your marketing materials. But this, of course, is something that you will already know. Something that has come up in recent months are those fast channels. Fast channels are free, advertisement-supported television channels, and they're coming hundreds, 200 per month at the moment. We have worldwide, I think, about 2,000 at the moment, and it's rapidly growing. So what is fast all about? It's we all know YouTube, but YouTube is a very general platform, and it is very hard to get into the YouTube charts. So what fast will do for you is provide a platform where you just have your own program. If you have enough program, you can do a fast channel on your own. You can focus on topics. You can focus on a host, on a certain person that will be there all the time. You have a commercial brand that you can build upon. So this is what fast channels are about. And then for me, most importantly, there's style branding. The way you do your films can make you stand out in a very fragmented market. So what I have been doing for more than 30 years now is I have added reenactment, drama, to my documentary films. So you will find experts, you will find documentary research, you will find stock footage, archive, you will find documents and maps, the real thing. But I have added reenactment. So this is what you call dramatized documentary, docudrama. And since maybe this might be a very good solution for the Arabic-speaking market as well, because people, if people are accustomed to seeing reenactments, fictional films, then maybe this is their access to documentary filmmaking. So in the sample that I will show you right away, you can see what kind of spectrum, what kind of bandwidth you will develop as a filmmaker if you, as a documentary filmmaker, if you allow reenactments to be a storytelling element. It's a lot of fun to work like this. Of course, you will need to finance it. You need an additional budget for acting, for costumes, for whatever kind of effects you want to show. But it's very rewarding. And this is the secret of my success. So I'm a very old film director by now, so there will be room once I stop working. So please, let me encourage you to think about incorporating reenactment into your documentaries. And this is not just fantasy reenactment, it's reenactment based on facts. You have to do your research, you have to do, you have to know your sources. This has to be real, even though it's fiction. That's a very, very important condition. So please have fun with the samples I have prepared for you. Thank you very much.
برنامج أبناء السنتبال لإخراج فريدريك براداتش سيلفر برايز تو أبناء السنتبال.
الصوت شوية تفضل.
Quiet, please. Action. Happy morning. Happy morning. When I came to Amman the first time in November 2011, everybody moves in here, please. This was just a dream, doing a film on the history of Amman.
هذه قصة آبائي وأجدادي. هي قصة بحر وإبحار لأبناء السندباد.
Yeah, you see here you see how they would tie keys and all.
Butterflies, we have anchors and we will have sandbags. So that's it.
Yeah, this is the kind of.
Hi, I'm Toby. I'm the director of photography for the shooting here in Oman. Today, that's what you see here. In the background, we are building up some marketing.
So we need everybody who's already in costume. We need them on set in half an hour right here.
كتبت قصصهم في الرمال. من الصعب العثور عليها، ولكنها صحيحة على الرغم من ذلك.
Yeah, let's do it again. Sorry. Oder du wartest einfach. Ich möchte. Dann bleib so und dann steht. So what we wanted to do, we wanted also to know where does this come from? Where does this different attitude come from? And that's why we looked into history.
And there, of course, you have a tradition of merchants, of seafaring, of people traveling all over the Indian Ocean, getting in touch with different cultures, different religions. And this, of course, forms a spirit.
بالنسبة للرجال من جبال عمان، فإن البحر الشاسع هو بوابتهم للعالم.
Yes. Okay. Do you have a break for the next class? All right. Break. Oh, why are you so long?
الله أكبر الله أكبر حي على الصلاة.
تحت قيادته يغزو أسطول برتغالي قلهات في 22 من شهر أغسطس عام 1508 من الجانب البحري غير المحمي.
Okay, that's your cue. My action is for him to start running.
Okay, I try it again.
Yes. Action.
We use electric match with the system, set it, and then arm it. We can arm it and then fire.
Mach doch mal einen Ausschnitt, wo wir wirklich sowas machen.
Ja?
Okay.
Yeah, what's rolling? We're checking.
عندما تمر سفينة أبي عبيدة بقارب الجنك الصيني، يتضح أن هدف رحلة السنة والنصف أصبح قريباً، غوانغشو، والتي تسمى أيضاً كانتون.
声。来这边，开始，Action，开始。好，等他下来你再上去。Stop，Action。
يبدأ الموسم التجاري في الميناء النهري لمدينة كانتون في وقت مبكر من الصيف.
أسرع أسرع أيوة.
Good.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Klotch, for approaching the docudrama genre, which is quite stunning. It's finally very close to a feature production, a full feature production with a full crew. Finally.
Very true, yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much. كان فما سؤالات توا s'il y a des questions, سؤالات.
If there are any questions
for the public to ask our experts. Yes, please.
نبيها بن صالح مدير إدارة التلفزيون في اتحاد الدول العربية. أردت تعقيب على ما تفضل به الأستاذ سيف الدين حسن المنتج للأفلام الوثائقية بخصوص الإنتاج العربي المشترك وعدم وجود هذا الإنتاج يكون اللي راهو الإنتاج المشترك بدأ في تنفيذه اتحاد الدول العربية
common production started since 2017.
هو إنتاج تلفزيوني عربي مشترك في
joint Arab TV production under the ASB, and we have now reached the 6th edition of this production and work on particular themes that are chosen by the program committee that oversees such production. And of course, for the topics, we do not have the capacity as Arab Union to expand too much in terms of subjects and political matters as subjects of these documentary films, but there are issues of humanitarian interest that are tackled. Of course, we have experts, Mr. Marcus very well knows, require particular skills and capacities and resources. And today, the representation of the Arab Broadcasting Institution is changes or between those who have particular skills and capacities in that regard, whereas others may have limited capacities. Therefore, budgetary elements vary, and the quality and the level, the professional level, also differs from one institution to another. And we look to the joint capacity to consolidate and provide capacities in this area for documentary production, such as to create a series of joint documentary production
productions under the ASBU and according to the basket mechanism that makes it possible to benefit from each other's capacities and to produce more documentaries. This will reduce the cost. This is in line with the Arab Union that Brother Marcos already spoke about, and which produces a series of documentary films of high value on different subjects, and thanks to him we've been able to promote the Arab capacities in documentary matters that coordinates with the Arab groups to work together in developing further horizons in documentary films. And this is what we noted. The objective, of course, is to develop documentary film production for the Arab television institutions. Thank you. I wish to avail of the opportunity of having the microphone right next to me. I'm Abdul Shahar, in charge of the documentary unions. I had the opportunity to produce more than 100 documentary films across the world, and I was, in fact, in the television TV union earlier on. That is to say that I've lived this particular experience with much difficulty. Today, this idea, the idea of this seminar in itself represents a call to safeguard this type of production, which is on the way to disappear. And in view of the cost, and in view of the absence of deeper examination, I shall try and be pragmatic and realistic as much as possible. Documentary films represent a type, if you may compare it to the daily production. It is like a prayer mat, the Persian prayer mat. It requires particular skills in terms of the choice of colors, the silk type, and so on, compared to the mechanic tapestry. Therefore, it needs to be saved. But how can we do so? Whereas TV culture is going in another direction. Many attempts, successful attempts, have been made, and at times with particular obstacles. I had the honor personally to deal with many televisions, including the Italian one and other international broadcasting TVs or channels. From my position at the United Nations, you cannot produce documentary films whereas you are looking from a particular window. You have to open windows and establish joint action programs. Of course, there has to be production capacities. It is built on the professional conception. And what matters most, as far as I'm concerned, is that we also need knowledge. Communication. When you submit or try to deal with international topics without having the capacity to to examine deeply and consider deeply, then regrettably the result will be at that level if you cannot dive deeply. Therefore, at the United Nations, and this is an area, I'm talking here as a Tunisian who is familiar with the problems in terms of production in the Arab world. These are issues of research, of deep diving, a matter of knowledge, matter of funding, coordination and creating what has been mentioned earlier, the concept of branding, expanding the idea to be comprehensive and generic. Let me try and be brief. I know that there are time constraints. At the United Nations, we have almost 40 international organizations, each of which specializes into, take the FAO, for instance. It is 75 years old. It was established immediately after the Second World War. At the FAO, the earlier colleagues started with establishing a section of TV and radio after 54. Production was not available then, whereas 35mm films were already available. But then we developed, and to such an extent that we have reached high levels in terms of production and cooperation. These organizations are treasure houses. I'm talking about the FAO, 30 years of experience there, and I know that at the FAO, at the UNESCO, UNIDO, and many other international organizations, there are treasure houses for documentaries, for pictures that you cannot find everywhere. We've placed our films in Chiquita, for we are worried about storing. We have films that were produced in 1945. Therefore, to say that there are storage and international experience, and secondly, and nobody can deny this, if you really wish to accede to real knowledge. Knowledge is founded on research, and these organizations and the documentary film itself caters for issues of international and universal value. For you cannot have a film that is 6 months, 1 year or 5 years old, a documentary that would go through history. Therefore, there is a need for research, for history, and the importance of archiving. That is incomparable. Yes, we may create new mechanisms and facts, but there have to be budgets, and there is no use for them if they have no archives. Let me give you one minor example. In the year 1982, the world, particularly this region of the world, the Middle East and Asia and Southern Europe, faced a major epidemic that nearly killed all cereal products in more than 30 years. There is a figure that is behind, that is known as the Sahara locust, which reached the city of Sfax. And we were, as a TV producing group, we were producing a particular film for an international seminar that was being held in Rome. And we reached Sfax, and we were taken aback by witnessing a real cloud of locusts covering the city of Sfax. So we documented the fact. It was just a matter of chance. And we filmed the event. We were about to go to Morocco and Algeria. We stopped the filming and went back to Rome. It was such an important and useful experience. I wish to say that you need coordinated action, coordinating knowledge, history, and professionalism. This is what is required for a documentary film. If we get together, this is just to give you an overview to places where we find treasures, storehouses, for us to work together to enrich the information and documentary aspect. And thank you for being long. Let me give the floor to the Palestinian producer, Marwa Jabara Brain.
مرحبا، يعطيكم ألف عافية. المضبوط أنا في جعبتي 14 فيلم وثائقي كلها عن فلسطين. الشريك الأكبر لإلي بالإنتاج هو
of documentaries all about Palestine
كبير على الساحة العربية
and their presence on the Arab scene was scarce. I worked many years in CNN and other stations. My experience in news room, the events were part of the first film I made was about weapons. It was a documentary film because Israel forbade for us the access to Gaza and covering some weapons that were used in Gaza. So I was trying to produce a documentary on a woman who was aged 70. This documentary film I followed two tracks in that documentary, whether Israel was testing its weapons on Palestinians and also does Israel violate international laws while using these weapons. And we managed to collect proof and data that Israel was doing all that, was testing its weapons on Palestinians and also violating Israel, the country which obtained, was awarded the Nobel Prize. And so that was my first documentary I produced. I was also eyewitness about something which happened in Ramallah. At that time, the RAI correspondent was kicked out of Palestine by the Israelis. It was a documentary film which lasted 40 seconds. Because the camera shot two Israeli soldiers. Also, the same camera has also shot Muhammad al-Durra. We all remember Muhammad Durra's story. I was eyewitness of what happened in Ramallah. The cameraman was working in RTI. But no one knew the identity of the cameraman. I knew his identity. He was Palestinian. I decided to make a film which would last 1 minute 40 seconds, which sums up the events that I have witnessed in Palestine after 10/10/2000, when an air jet or a jet entered Palestine and bombed Ramallah. So I prepared the film. I entitled 1 minute 40 seconds to talk about what happened that day. So I was with the Italian cameraman. And I was there and I saw everything. In that film I wanted, and you as foreigners, I took this film to the H Festival, the International H Festival, and I have partners who were very happy with the idea. I just wanted to use this example to talk to you about joint production endeavors and the problems that could be that it might engender. So that was an experience with France and Britain. There was some interest from the North American film company.
لكن فلسطين ما عندها اتفاقية إنتاج
However,
مشترك مع هاي
Palestine
الدولة
has
تحديداً.
no
بالتالي
agreement
لازم الفيلم
for
يكون
mutual film
تابع
production
لهاي الدولة
with the
ولإنه
USA
يكون
or with France.
49% ولإلهم 51%.
There was a company which was 49% owned by the French, I think, and 51%. So I decided to put the film in my drawer. So if anyone is to be a 50-50 partner in this endeavor, I accept. I might accept, but 51-49, I may not accept. The second good experience
غيرت منك
when
بصراحة
I saw
لأنه بسلسلة وأنت
drawings on sand.
سلاسل انطلقت بالسلسلة وحضرت لها
I started a series of documentaries and I have been working on that series for 4 years.
إني أبحث كيف إسرائيل نفذت جرائمها والمجازر اللي تمت
Israel has committed all its crimes since 1948 to the Deir Yassin in Dahmash, and I did not find any TV documentary on those atrocities committed by Israel. The second problem we might face in Palestine is that there is no national archive.
زي البيوت زي الأرض زي الطرد.
Archives have all been destroyed, like houses, like roads, like anything else in Palestine. And there is no national archive in Palestine which would document events in Palestine. And what happened? And all those archives are hidden in the basements of the Israeli army. So I decided to draw on sand from the memory of people to archive the events that happened, to document the events that happened.
ومعروفات. الجواب كان لا نريد أن نعمل بقضايا سياسية.
However, people told me that they don't want to work on political issues.
يعني اللي بيعمل التغيير الاجتماعي هو الفنان.
So after all, it's the artist who does social change, who
لأنه في عليها ممكن يكون تحقيق
leads to social change.
ويمكن ما يتقدم زي ما لازم أو ما بعرف الأسباب بس أنا توجهت.
I don't know the reasons, but I have contacted so many parties, and all of them rejected the idea. I wanted them to draw on sand the stories they witnessed.
عشان نقدر ننتج عربيا جدا مهم.
As a summary, in order to have good Arabic production, documentary production, that might compete with the European one or the American one, it is very important to have access to the national archives in the Arab countries. So I was, in the absence of this access, I was obliged to. There was a football match between in 1936. However, this archive, which is not accessible because it has been confiscated by the Israeli army, the Palestinian archive. So in order to produce a 1-minute documentary,
لأنه أغطي تكاليف الدقيقة هاي لأنها باهظة.
And producing that minute was so expensive, and I did not have the financial means to do it. So we want to tell the Palestinian story with a Palestinian voice and an Arab joint production. Thank you so much, Marwa. If you want to ask our experts any questions, please do.
طبعا احنا نشكر كل القائمين على
We would like to thank the organizers of this conference.
في مجال إنتاج الأفلام
in
الوثائقية
its importance and its importance on
أشكر كل
the
المتقدمين بالعروض
documentary production.
وشكر خاص
I would like to thank everyone,
للأستاذ
and especially
كلوتش
Dr. Klotch, Mr. Klotch. Vielen Dank, sir.
دكتورة وجدان العقاب
I am Dr. Wujdan Lagab, the head of the Kuwaiti Association for the Protection of the Environment. With me also the head of the Committee on the Environment in Kuwait. We would like to document the environment in Kuwait. 9 years ago, we wanted to make documentaries and branding 1 and 2, and we thought it was so complementary with the series we wanted to produce. So far, we produced 253 short documentaries about the biological diversity and natural reserves in Kuwait. And thank God, all this has been made into a series, a documentary series, which involves which covered birds and the biological species in some regions of Kuwait, as well as the plants and all types of plants which survive in that area. The difference in habitat has an influence on biological diversity. So in order to cover this habitat, the main aim of this series, with the production of which is still continuing, this is the 9th season now, and our major aim is to invite the Kuwaiti public to know about the habitat of animals in Kuwait. Especially that a few years ago, world countries have signed the Sustainable Development 2030 Agreement. So 2030 is coming soon, and we don't have much time to achieve all the objectives of sustainable development. Each citizen needs to know their role in this endeavor so that governments manage to achieve and implement agreements on the ground. Many agreements have not been implemented, and the lack of implementation and the lack of environmental awareness, of course, it is part of the challenges that face the production of such documentaries. We are after all, a civil society organization. We produce such films which are high quality, high resolution, and we have been awarded a number of awards. However, the challenges which we faced is the lack of financial assistance, especially that most production, 99% of it, is outdoor production. We have climate challenges, and producing such films outdoor in hot weather, in cold weather, under the rain, in sandstorms.
هذا النوع من التحديات
يؤثر
على
الأجهزة يأثر على الكاميرات. يعني مثلا تصوير دوكيومنتري مثل هذا في دولة الكويت، احنا معروف ان درجة الحرارة عندنا طبعا يقولون انها توصل 51، احنا راصدينها في اكثر من موقع 56 و57. فشيء طبيعي في وسط التصوير راح نلاقي ان الكاميرات اوفر هيت، فلازم يكون عندي الحين عدة يعني نستهدفها في الموقع علشان اقدر انا اتخطى هذا التحدي المناخي اللي ممكن يمنعني من التصوير. فبالتالي عندنا اللي هي الثلاجات المتنقلة أو سياراتنا نشغل فيها التكييف والأشياء علشان تنزل حرارة الكاميرا. هذه التحديات المناخية. التحديات المالية قدرنا نتخطاها بثلاثة أشياء. أولاً حصلنا على دعومات من الحكومة، من مؤسسات معروفة تدعم الإنتاج وتدعم البرودكت العلمي الثقافي التوعوي. هذا جانب. الجانب الثاني تمكنا وبطريقة جدا ممتازة من عمل ميموراندومز اللي هي مذكرات تفاهم مع جهات حكومية، مثالا عليها وزارة الداخلية بكل قطاعاتها البرية والبحرية كانت تقدم لنا الدعم اللوجستي بحيث أن تقلل التكاليف اللي ممكن نحتاجها في الإنتاج للتنقل. فإحنا نضمن أن إذا احتجنا هليكوبتر وزارة الدفاع تقدم لنا، إذا احتجنا زوارق فخفر السواحل يقدم لنا. هذا النوع من التوافق مع الجهات التي تتمكن من تقديم الدعم اللوجستي كان له أثر كبير في تقليل الميزانية اللي ممكن كانت تتجاوز أكثر من 100,000 دينار كويتي. أنا أتكلم يعني تقريبا 300,000 دولار أمريكي من خلال هذه التعاونات. بالإضافة إلى أن بعض الأعمال تم تقديمها طوعيا وعن طريق التطوع، فبالتالي تم تقليل الميزانية. لكن لله الحمد إنجاز بأن يكون هناك طبعا مادة تسجيلية تتجاوز 290 برنامج. هذه طبعا هي سلسلة فيها الحين 9 مواسم تقدم المعلومات الموثوقة علميا بسبب بحث علمي جاد في مراجعات علمية أكاديمية يتم مراجعتها كذلك أمنيا ويتم مراجعتها كذلك قانونيا. فهي بالتالي مادة ممتازة يتم استغلالها والاستفادة منها. من أهم الأشياء اللي احنا الحين يعني استفاد منها المجتمع من هذه البرامج التسجيلية هو أنها تعتبر الآن رافد علمي مساند للمناهج. فبالتالي كونها كل كائن حي في برنامج فيلم تسجيلي قصير، طبعا هذا ساعد جدا بأن يكون إيصال المعلومة موثوق وإيصال المعلومة سريع. شكرا لكم.
شكرا جزيلا. حبيت جست أذكركم اللي فما ندوة ثانية معناها انطلاقا من الندوة هذه.
I would like to thank you and remind you that there will be a subsequent session after this one. We should talk about the schools of drama. Let us take your question to be addressed to the experts present with us about joint production and also about documentary films.
شكرا. أهلا بكم. معز الغربي، مذيع ومقدم برامج بالإذاعة الوطنية التونسية، تجربة 33 عام، معلق صوتي لأكثر من وثائقي طيلة السنوات اللي مضت، وثائق في التلفزيون الوطني التونسي، أيضا في السينما وأيضا في الجزيرة وثائقي. حبيت أطرح سؤال حول التعليق الصوتي، يعتبر مع الأسف الشديد حسب رأيي الشخصي الحلقة الأضعف، رغم أنه هو السيبور، يعني هو اللي يهز العمل الوثائقي ويعطيه قيمته. فمن خلال تجربتي المتواضعة حسيت أنه ديما المعلق الصوتي ما يأخذش حقه معنويا وماديا على مستوى الإنتاج الوثائقي. ثم أكيد قلوا إحنا بارام انترناسيونال يخلي الناس ربما تاخذ حقوقها أكثر على مستوى التعليق الصوتي، وهذا بالطبيعة قيمة العمل هو الصورة والصوت وأيضا النص اللي يقرأه المعلق الصوتي. شكرا لكم.
شكرا. ناخذ آخر سؤال.
Any other questions? One last question, please. Honorable ladies over there.
شكرا. ديرين محسني إعلامية ومؤسسة مشروع إعلامي حديث. حبيت نسأل الساعة نستغل الفرصة أني نشكر الأسبوع على الفستيفال اللي مكن من تجميع مختلف الإذاعات والتلفزيونات وشركة الإنتاج، وفخورة جدا باش نكون بيناتكم اليوم. أضفتوا لي برشا الحقيقة. حبيت نسأل على شروط الشراكة في الإنتاج. يعني هل هناك فما كريتير، يعني فما شروط الخبرة، عدد الإنتاج، معناها فما شروط ولا لا؟ فوالا هذا سؤالي. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا. Who wants to answer this question? Maybe Marcus? Thank you.
Yes, I think this is not an easy question. Cooperation and co-production is always demanding. It's very important that there's a match between the partners. That means that the partners have to come together on a common idea, common approach, a common goal. And that is already not a trivial thing. You have to really agree on the story, of course, how to tell the story. And of course, how to tell the story best is depending on what target audience you have and what your profile is as a channel, as a slot in a channel, and who your public, your audience is. So it's not trivial to get together on a common idea, common story, a common format. And the second point is, of course, when you work together over more than one national territory, what you do is you co-finance and then you share the rights. So I think it's very important for producers and for everybody who looks for international financing to be aware of what is possible to offer and what you need to get. Normally what you need to get is, of course, financing, co-financing, but what you have to offer is rights. And that can be a problem sometimes because when you have a partner that is a satellite channel, or if you have a partner already that is a platform, then many rights are no longer available. And therefore, I think you have to cleverly and coherently develop a strategy that you get the most out of it. But I think the basic issue is to get a common understanding about what story and how to tell the story so that everybody's happy with the result. This is my point of view, but I hand over to my colleagues. Eventually, you may want to add something.
Nothing more to say. It's complicated and it's difficult and a lot of work. Yes. No, I can only say what Marcus is telling you. It's very complicated and it's a lot of work. Okay, that's
just maybe stick it. Maybe.
That's a pity. Okay. Hey?
Yeah.
Better. Okay. No, I don't have to add something because it's Mark said all about this. It's difficult and it's complicated, but we do production, but it's really complicated.
I think I might want to add one thing. You need to have, very important thing, you have to trust each other. So it's very important that you know each other, and to know each other, you have to come together. And I think the festival like this year is such a place where we can talk to each other and to know each other. And once we have started to talk to each other, we can also understand what kind of needs we have and what kinds of possibilities. So I was very interested and hearing about your own projects. Thank you for giving us this information.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Nico. Sir. أكاوي آخر واحد.
شكرا جزيلا على الدعوة.
Thank you heartily
عندي
for the
سؤال
invitation. I
على
have a
السريع
question, a brief one.
DW عند الحديث عن
When we
إنتاج
talk
المحتوى أو
about
الدوكيومنتريز
the production
تخاطب
of
الأجيال
content and
الصغيرة، إيش
documentaries
هي الآليات؟
addressing the young,
إيش
what
هي
are the
الطريقة اللي تنظروا
mechanisms,
فيها
what are
إنه
the
to attract young
appropriate
generations؟ شكرا جزيلا.
mechanisms to address the young generation?
لو سمحت سؤال لو سمحت.
If you allow me, one question.
سيد
The honorable
سيد المعد
organizer or moderator, one
في
question
عجالة
please. If
في
you allow
عجالة.
me, a brief one.
سؤال للخبير
My question is
ماركوس.
addressed to the expert, Mr. Marcus.
سؤال الخبير ماركوس لو يتكرم الخبير ماركوس فعلا كانت هناك يعني سلاسل تاع اعمال مشتركه بين الكوبيام ولازفو منها سلسله جسور. لو يتكرم الخبير ماركوس يعطينا فكره حول كيف ان القائمين على الجسور العمل الوثائقي جسور كيف ان القائمين على هذه السلسله أقنعوا المخرجين الشبان بأن يكون في كل عمل توثيقي رسالة يجب في كل الأحوال يجب أن يكون هناك غائية هناك رسالة يجب تمريرها للجمهور. وفي عجالة شكرا للجميع.
For the first question, how to reach the young audience, I guess you have to go to platforms because young audience worldwide isn't sitting in front of the TV. We have to go on platforms, and it's quite traditional work, good work, high class documentaries. Then you will reach young ones. And the topics are similar. On our channels, it's the rich, poor. It's about nature, about climate change. And you get the young ones, but you have to get them on platforms, not on TV. I can give you an example. My son, 19 years old, he don't watch TV at all, but he loves to watch documentaries, but it is on a smartphone or on computer.
I have one additional idea. When you do reenactment scenes like I demonstrated, then you need young actors, and you pick them from the street. You ask someone to participate. And this is the best way to engage them in a topic when they have a role in it. And then they will distribute to their Instagram accounts and TikTok. You have instantly thousands of followers for your project if you have young people playing in it.
Yeah, quickly to answer on the question about how to communicate such a topic as we treated. We worked together on a project on sustainability called Jusur a couple of years ago between Europe and Arabic countries. How to communicate about such a topic to especially young people. I very much agree. I think you need to also have young people included as producers, but also on screen. So in this case, we looked out for protagonists that most of them were quite young people, and we showed how they were doing outstanding things in the field of creating sustainable energy, creating sustainable businesses. And I think that's the way also to engage them. They need to be protagonists. You're not somebody to be taught and only talked to by us old people. They need to be protagonists of their own stories. That's, I think, very important.
Thank you. ذولي كمان شكرا.
Thus we may have come to a conclusion. I thank you all.
شكرا جزيلا لكافة الحاضرين، شرفتونا في هذه الندوة. وبعد استراحة قصيرة نرجو منكم الالتحاق بأماكنكم لمواكبة الندوة الموالية. وكما أشار الأستاذ نضال ستكون بعنوان التعليق الرياضي في الوطن العربي، مدرسة أم مدارس؟ وسيكون هناك ضيوف خبراء متخصصون، يعني من الإعلاميين والمعلقين الرياضيين، ليس فقط من تونس وإنما من عديد البلدان العربية. ولذا نرجوكم الالتحاق بأماكنكم بعد 5 دقائق من الآن. مع جزيل الشكر.
Many thanks to you.